Hey guys, how's it going? Matt from Foulball Productions here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you're doing well, because I'm doing phenomenally. Thank you so very much. Actually, I'm not doing all that great. I will get into that. I don't want to get into my shit before I introduce my guest. But I do have a guest for you today. As I mentioned, I'm going to start having more guests. And today I'm joined with a man that I did the Salty Nerd podcast with. Also hung out with him in Vegas. But he has his own content. He puts out his own channel. He does a bunch of different streams. He's good with the social media, good with the shorts. Please welcome JTGun Cap. I'm not even entirely sure what to call you. What do you normally go by? I feel like you have a lot of names.
Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming by and watching the show. Yeah, you can call me JT, but a lot of people, Cap just came as a little nickname from my Twitter account. So I took the monocle of Captain America, and people just kept calling me Cap. So
okay,
but you can call me whatever you want.
Because I see it's JT, so then I see JTGun, then I see JTGun Cap, and I'm like, I can't. What am I supposed to address this guy as?
Well, yeah, I used to. I mean, Gunter is my last name, obviously. So then I do that with my graphics arts side of my life. That's Gunter Graphics. So then JT is my name, so then I just decided to put it together, keep it short. Some people know who I am, some people, it's just this new kid on the block kind of making content. So
there's a lot of new kids on the block, so I wouldn't worry too bad about being one of them, but it's more about like longevity and having an impact and doing your own thing. We're all kind of still figuring this thing out.
Yeah, I've been at it for not even a year.
Okay.
So I started with the shirt that I'm wearing after the weekend, and we review movies from the 80s and 90s. Cool. And from our childhood. Like last week we did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. So I started there with R2 and Maria. And then they kept tugging me. They kept saying, you should do your own thing. You should do your own channel. You'll have fun doing it. People will enjoy your attitude. So I said, okay, I'll try it. And yeah, it's just been grinding out ever since. And that was June of this year.
Oh, okay. So you're very new in the game.
Very new. So I try to do something very different. A lot of people are doing reviews, or they're doing new, pop culture news. And I try to let's just get away from that for just an hour of the day. And I grab a guest, and we talk about silly stuff. Like every show, I talk about really bad graphic design. So I bring up images.
I've seen some of that, which is really funny.
And it catches them off guard because they don't know what they're expected to see. I kind of surprise them. So you get real emotion out of that. And then sometimes we'll talk about something that's very interesting. Like last Wednesday we did people buying land on the moon. You could actually purchase up to 25 acres on the moon.
Really?
For $249. Take my word.
Yo, do you own that forever?
Yeah, I guess you get a deed.
Yo,
I don't know how long you can own it.
Dude, legit, that could be a huge investment opportunity. Because did you ever see the movie Moon?
No. Actually,
it's a very good movie with Sam Rockwell, and essentially the conceit is that in the future we figured out how to mine helium-3 on the moon, which is solving the energy crisis back on Earth. And they'll put a lone astronaut up there to monitor the whole facility and all the rovers that harvest the helium-3. It's a pretty simple job. It's just sort of it's a 3-year contract, and then you earn your way back home. Well, a sinister twist happens in the first act, so this isn't a spoiler or anything, but there's actually, he goes out into the to fix one of the harvesters, and he loses track, and he sees something in the mist, and he crashes the harvester, and then he wakes up in the infirmary of the moon base, and then he's like, why is the crashed harvester still out there? So he goes to the crashed harvester and finds a clone of himself, and realizes that they're actually is no going home. You're just a clone, and they just have a
Sounds
bunch of
like
you.
the Tom Cruise movie. What was that movie with Tom
Yeah,
Cruise?
Equilibrium? No, something like that. I know the one you're
No,
talking
Equilibrium was
about,
not
though.
Tom Cruise.
No, but I know the one. It's on kind of like a desolate Earth, and there's these different like zones, and you can't go beyond that. Well, this one was before this. This was Duncan Jones's movie, who's David Bowie's son. But
Okay.
the whole point is that helium-3 research that they put into the movie is a real thing. Like that's really something that I think China is investing in harvesting right now. So if you own like big swaths of the moon, like you could become like a billionaire.
Yeah, I think it's like lunar.com or something like that. Yeah, you could buy up to 25 acres. I keep saying anchors, but yeah.
I'm gonna find some like astronomy friends and be like, "Where's the richest deposits of helium-3? Is that part of the moon owned yet? Because in 2050, I want to be a billionaire."
Yeah, they give you like a deed and then like a box of rocks and a
Are they
couple
actual moon rocks?
they say they are.
They just like at the offices, they're just picking them out of the driveway. Like,
I
yeah,
got
these
plenty
are
of
from
rock
the
in my
moon.
backyard that I can probably sell for
Yeah,
moon.
exactly. Yeah, this is from Jupiter. Pretty cool, right? There's no ground on Jupiter. It's one of the moons. Shut up.
Yeah, so
That's a good
times.
movie, though. By the way, I recommend you checking that out. That's a
The
really
Moon.
good. It's just called Moon.
Just moon. Okay.
Just Moon, and it's a really simple, like a really simple plot, really simple idea. Actually as good as it looks. It's actually pretty low budget. They really utilize CGI and practical effects well. They blend them together, so it's very immersive. And
Okay.
unfortunately, the voice of the helpful robot is Kevin Spacey. But if you can overlook that, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look over it, I guess, sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, I'm still gonna watch Glenn Ross. I don't care. That's a good movie.
He was a good actor. A little
He
weird.
was.
A lot weird, but he
A
was
lot
good.
weird. Yeah, he was very good. He was very good. So tell me a little bit about the graphic design stuff. Are you a graphic designer, graphic artist, or what's the deal?
Yeah, so I went to school for it. I kind of done it like on the side, and I did work in the industry for a good amount of time, but then I shifted careers to focus more on the digital design, so like web pages, and I've done some e-training stuff. So in the corporate world, but on the side, I still like to do a little graphic art. So before I used to just design stuff for just my family or things like that, Christmas cards, that kind of thing.
That's cool.
And I was
That's
like,
a good skill to have for that.
yeah. And then once I started making friends in this little corner of the internet, I started noticing people would have profile pics, and not some of them were that greatest. So you can tell that they were doing them, themselves, or just so they can have something. And there were some pretty big channels, or some channels that I was like, man, can I like help you out? And so there were some channels that I reached out to, and I said, hey, I'll help. I'll do some designs for you. And I just had to get my foot in the door. So if, Ryan Kennel and R2 the Icky were one of my first clients.
Oh wow.
So, yeah. So when I did this logo, he was just starting out his channel. He's like, look, I got this one logo. I know it's not that great. Do you mind like doing something for me? And I did. And then after that, it just kind of kicked off. And I did the RK Nation shield for Ryan, and he loved it. And he uses that for his like membership badges. He's got shirts and
Cool.
stuff. Then people just kept coming after that. Like every
That's
month,
rad.
like people would just keep coming. They would say, hey man, you sound pretty cool. Like I saw what you did with so and so. So it's mostly like word of mouth.
Yeah.
And like I did something for My Nerdy Home. You had her on a couple shows.
Steph. We love Steph here.
Yeah. So, and they're always pitching out to people, like telling people about me, like, hey, if you need something, JT could probably do it for you. He's pretty reasonable with whatever he does. And yeah, it just keeps going from there. So that's why
pretty dope, dude. That reminds me, like when I was an actor in LA, there would always be these kind of, like, there's so many expenses that go into being an actor that you wouldn't know unless you did it. Like, getting a reel, getting audition tapes, getting your
Yeah.
headshots, hosting that type of stuff, website, just so many things that you have to spend money on and constantly work on. But there were a lot of actors who their little side hustle would be to be like a headshot photographer, or they would shoot your reel for you, or
Yeah.
shoot your audition. And that reminds me of that. Like it's like, yeah, like even if I'm not making money on the content yet necessarily, I can make money on the side hustle helping other people with their business. That's very
Yeah.
ingenuitive of you.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I get to, showcase my art on Instagram, and people go, oh, they actually know that's a real thing or real person.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's
That's
pretty
Gunter
cool.
Graphics on Instagram.
Yeah. Yep. You can search for it, Gunter underscore, and it's GRPHX. So
I mean, you do have a pretty good logo. Like the Late Night with Cap logo is sharp.
yeah.
That's a good one.
That was yeah. That's my live show on Wednesdays. I kind of was nitpicky on that one. I really wanted mine to be good.
No, you did good. I mean, it's sharp, and like I like
Yeah.
that it looks kind of like a late night show. Like that's like it's got that kind of Letterman vibe.
Yeah, that's the point of it. Yeah, I'm like I said, just trying to have fun, and we do the bad graphic design stuff. So, and
Yeah, I saw the short that looked like a dick or whatever. It was like the yellow logo.
yeah, Doughboys.
This one, is that real?
Yes, a lot of these are real. Some are all either made by a company, or they're made by like a professional, or they're someone did like they're on their own design. So
Because I saw like what was essentially like memes or whatever, where they would do bad logos and they were intentionally supposed to look like dicks or vaginas. It was kind of like ah ha ha. But they really made this one that looks like
yeah,
an
most of these are pretty
ejaculating
real.
penis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's Alex from Salty Nerd. He was so focused on the salad part of the logo. He's not really a salad guy. He was like, why are we eating salad with pizza?
Also, if you're calling it Doughboys, that sort of contradicts your brand. Like you can have pizza, but like that shouldn't be. I mean, sorry, a salad. That just shouldn't be what you lead with. It should definitely be pizza or dough.
Yeah. He was so focused on that. He was like, what is the spirally thing on top there? I don't get it. Like, so it was good times.
Is that what that's supposed to be on top? This is supposed to be here is supposed to be salad?
We weren't sure. We were either thinking it was steam, or a piece of you have a piece of pie, and
Yeah,
then on the
but
side
it's not
salad.
like angular like pizza
No.
should be. It's what is that? That is really bad. You're right. Like the DB's not bad. It's still a
No.
little phallic, but it's not that bad. But then when you
No,
it
you
just
can get
looks
away
like-
with it if you got rid of if you did something different for the whatever that is on the top.
If you just use the like the text they have down here, it'd be fine. Like this font, DB, it would be a lot less dick and balls-ish. I mean,
Yeah.
that really looks like an ejaculating penis. Like it's like
Yeah, I swear this came from some real company. So
that's a.
I don't know
really
if they're really
funny-
using it anymore, but it was out
That's
there.
a funny concept to roast designers. I mean, there's a lot of bad designs out there. I mean, I've had a few logos made, and like I like my logo, but the ones like there's certain things about that actually do kind of irk me. You might notice it more than others, but if you look in the top right, my logo, the bottom left swoop around the outside of the reel and the top one are different sizes. So it's actually very hard to center this logo because it's like it centers itself
yeah.
off center. Yeah, and it's like it's just like a little thing that I just wish was slightly different. And I guess it's supposed to be like a perspective thing, but it has bothered me from day one. But I'm like, oh, it's the logo now.
Well, you're always picky for your own stuff, right? So
Absolutely.
I like it. I thought I got it. So
Thank you.
Before I knew you were in the movie biz, I thought it was like a golf ball.
I mean, I'm not in the movie biz. I was, I guess, kind of, or ancillarily. I don't know. I was in the adjacent, movie industry adjacent. But I I quit that. So this is my artistic outlet now. So
You
I
do a
don't
good
know.
job.
Thanks. I hope so. It's such a weird grind, man. I just feel like
It
you're
is.
always in the dark without a flashlight.
Yeah, it is. You're not sure, like, if you on the chat, people will tell you like good things, but you're not really sure if are they really serious or are they just being nice. But
Yeah.
if they're coming back and you actually get people that you've never seen before tell you that you're doing a good job, then at least you're doing something right.
That's all I can really base it on is just if people repeat, and it's really the repeat and the engagement. If you have like the same guys coming in the chat and they're talking, you're like, all right, well, there's obviously something here. They wouldn't just come back to be nice. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
I always say, if I make you laugh and you leave the stream in a good mood, then I've done my job. So
sure. Or if I just ate up a few hours of your day, even if you're not happier, I'm less concerned with that. I'm more concerned with your patronage. This is about me. This is about me.
Yeah, I'm not right now. It's just more of a hobby for me. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I'm pretty good in my day life financial situation, so I'm just doing it just to have fun with friends online and chat with people like you. So.
Right on, man. Yeah, it's a dope hobby. Like, I've at times have gone pro, and I still spend a lot of time doing it. I don't think I've committed to going pro, but a lot of that has to do with like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Like when I started,
I don't think the pros know what they're doing either.
They at least have a brand identity. I don't even think I have a brand identity right now because so much of what I started off doing, I don't do anymore. Like I would just cover TV shows and just do live streams after the episodes and talk about that. And then it became kind of devolved into once, content decided to implode, it was really just talking about that. And that doesn't feel like it's moved. And I got so tired of talking about it all. Like once Lord of the Rings happened, I just was like, that's it. I quit. I'm done. I'm done with the culture war. You guys can have it. Have all the properties. I don't care. I'm going to watch comedy and I don't know. I don't know what else, try to find some good video games here and there.
But I hear you. I'm the same way. So I try to really go to what I like. Like right now I'm watching House of Dragons. That's a really good show.
Yeah.
I've just started watching season 5 of Cobra Kai. So
okay.
I'm a fan of that one. But I'm also a fan of the classic shows. Like I was watching like old school Magnum PI and Columbo. They're just so better.
Really?
You'll watch them and you're like, wow, like I didn't know that was going to happen, or wow, that was such a good ending to that show. And even though it was like made in, Columbo was like the 60s and early 70s. So you get more of they really cared about the audience that they were showing it to. So.
That's interesting because not all the shows hold up all that great. Like some of those shows from back then, you're like, this was a primetime show. Like,
well,
this is barely competent.
Well, Magnum PI, I would say go to like season 4.
Okay.
Columbo, you should watch all of them because they're like movies. They're like almost an hour and a half.
Columbo.
Yeah, Columbo. He's an LA detective, murder, homicide. So. Okay. And he always finds ways to catch people, and it's always so. What happens in this show is, they show you the murder in the beginning. So, right. So who's done it. You know how they did it, and you're trying to. You're like, oh man, is he going to catch him this time? Like, how is he going to do it? How is he going to solve the case? And it usually ends up being something very small that the murderer didn't realize it was. So either like he didn't. Take something off his desk and it was a caught on camera. Like why would this be on your desk if you're supposed to be in another location with that thing? Why do you have these shoes that have dirt on them? Stuff like just little minute things that the killer never thinks of. And or he'll catch him by surprise. Like there was one where he tricked a guy that there was a bomb in a box, and he was trying to mimic the same bomb that the guy used to murder the person, and he was like, if you don't tell me if you did the murder, I'm gonna open this. And the guy freaked out and he's like, there's nothing in here. He's like, why, so
that wily Columbo, he got him again. He always gets his man.
Oh yeah, he always gets it. It's fun. And then
or his woman. Women are perfectly capable of committing murders as well.
He does. He's caught in both. So
good. I was just thinking of like, you ever seen a movie where you're essentially following like the bad guy, and then you have all this anxiety, and you like, even though this person should get caught, you're like, oh no, the cops are coming. Like you're like and you're on the killer's side. Like a movie I could think of that was like that was really good was The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah, not in a while, but that's a good one. Yeah,
It's a really good one. I mean, he's essentially a sociopath. Like he lies his way into people's lives. At first, it's like kind of relatively harmless, and he becomes like sexually obsessed with Jude Law, then murders him, and then like is covering it up, living his life, and then like just keeps killing people, and you're just like, it's bad. But you every time when he gets close to getting caught, you get so scared, like you wanna. Oh, it's really that's a good flick. It's kind of fucked up though. Like that one, the last time I watched that, it gave me like a weird nightmare afterwards.
Don't you? We try to do that. We watch movies with my wife in the evening. So if we watch something that's pretty intense, we try to watch some funny videos on YouTube to like clear the mind, because some of them can be like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken recently to watching nature documentaries. That has really calmed me down before bedtime.
They have live feeds on YouTube of bears like catching salmon.
I know. I love it. They have them from aquariums too. Like they'll have like the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and you can just watch the otters.
Yep, we do that.
It's great.
Or like the African videos where like you're hoping like a lion comes by, but it ends up being like a bird.
Maul's a tribesman, right? Oh no, different videos. Sorry, different corner of the internet.
I've seen that.
I've seen that shit too. It's brutal. I was just listening to Rogan. He was on Your Mom's House, or on Two Bears One Cave, and he was talking about like a video he found that he had to save instantly because a crocodile like ate a person, and he's like, "Oh, they're gonna take this down. I need to save this." I was like, "Why do you need to save that? You don't need to witness that type of thing. It's not good for your mind." I when I was an actor, I played a Vietnam vet. This is just for an acting class, but with like PTSD, from like all the horrible things he saw. So as part of my, method, I guess, or whatever, to get into character, I went on a lot of those like Gore websites to like try to find like, hopefully something that was hopefully, really gunning for something horrific, just to stimulate like that type of feeling, that sort of visceral reaction. It was very, very unsettling. Like some of those things you just can never unsee.
Yeah. There used to be like a DVD or a VHS back in the day. I don't know how old you are. It was called like Faces of Death.
I know all about it. I never saw it, but I think a lot of that was fake.
It maybe. I think a lot of it was like, okay, this dude, this was a bad accident, and this dude did this, and then they had to like put in fake stuff to really.
Yeah. Like some of it was like news footage, and I think some of it was like manufactured. I don't know. I never did any research on it, but like I don't. Some people look at that as some sort of like morbid fascination. Like I'm still mad at my friend for doing this. I was hanging out at his house. It was back in LA, and he just gets it. He's looking at his phone. He goes, "What the fuck? Why did my brother just send me this?" And I was like, all right, yeah, I don't want to see it. And he just turns to me, and it's like from the cartels, they let these pit bulls like maul this guy's genitals, and they're just eating them. And I was like, why did you show me that? You just said, what the fuck? You didn't want to see it. Why did you share the misery? And now I can still see it in my head right now. I can still see it. It's
people just have to do that.
Dick, you didn't have to.
I just remember I used to work in a video store, and I remember the guys that used to go and get those Faces of Death movies, and we would have to put them in like black cases. So they would always think, when people would see them getting those movies, some people always thought they were getting like porn and stuff. So it's like, no, they're just getting like murders and
it's just someone being shot on camera. No big deal. Don't worry. Have no fear. It's just a Brazilian street murder. I've seen a few of those too. It's so chilling when you see like I saw this one where this guy tried to rob a car, and the guy in the car had a gun and just shot him. And the way the guy falls, when he just falls, like there's no like agony or just, oh, I got shot. He just drops. Yeah, he drops like he got tased. It's just so like, that's how it happens. It's very, those are not good for your
I've seen
soul.
Like stuff like that for when lightning hits somebody, and they just kind of, so like cartoons and stuff, they show them all like,
Dude, the third world's wild because I saw these guys. I think it was China, and they were moving like this big scaffolding on wheels. It was a big metal scaffolding. There's like 4 of them, and they ran into some power lines, and all 4 of them instantly died. And they're just like, and the one guy's hanging on, and it's still like, and it's smoking, and the sparks, and it's horrible. It was just horrible. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
God, man. You know, sometimes you need some of that government regulation. Need a little OSHA, because otherwise. Just gonna run a scaffolding and
For sure. Yeah, you always
blink
need
out of
something
existence. One day you're just going to work. Bye, honey. I'll be home later. The next you're fucking bacon.
Yeah, that's why I like that I work from home. There's not a whole lot of way for me to get injured or out in the world. So.
They say most accidents happen near the home, though. Don't get too complacent.
Yeah.
That always freaks me out because it's like I work with a guy in LA, or I used to, in a bakery, and great dude. I worked with him for a year and a half through most of the pandemic, and I saw this video or like a series of images and stuff that he posted on Instagram. Nothing too violent, but he was cleaning we had this big dough mixer, you know, because we were doing big like what's the word?
Are you a cook, a baker?
I was a sourdough bread baker for a while. Yeah. I mean, it was just a side job, but I learned how to do it, and I can still do it. And my mother is a culinary arts instructor, so I've always had kind of a food. Yes, always been big food in my life. I consider myself a foodie, as douchey as that is to say about yourself, but I do consider myself that, and I still work in a bar, so it's like, yeah, it's always been my life. Yeah. But so he was cleaning the mixer, and I guess it wasn't unplugged, and somehow it got tripped, and like the towel that he was using, the rag he was using to clean it, got caught in some of the machinery and ripped off the tip of his finger. Yeah. And he just permanently doesn't have the tip of his finger now. And I was like, like you just don't start off your day thinking something like that's gonna happen, and then now you don't have a ring finger anymore, or at least a tip of it.
Yeah, I used to work at a printing press, and there were guys with missing fingers there too. So
those workplace accidents, man, those are rough. Oh God, you know, you see some of that. I see some of that stuff where guys just turned into ribbons. I suffered for my art, JT. I suffered for my art. That's what that was all about.
Remember to like the show, everybody.
Please like, subscribe, share, and I'll give you some links if you want them. No, don't do it. That was another thing, too. Those websites were so fucked up because it's like the dark corners of the internet. They would also have like porn advertisements, like really graphic porn advertisements on the side. So you're looking at the most horrific violence and then porn, and it's like, dude, I can't do the same. So I literally would crop the window so I didn't have to see those advertisements because it was too much to see both at the same time. It's very disturbing. Don't know why I shared that, but that was something that happened to me. Did you happen to catch Cyberpunk at all? Did you see Cyberpunk?
No.
Oh, buddy.
Sorry.
Best thing I've seen. No, it's fine. I'm just saying it's the best thing that I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing that I saw this year. I also really liked Severance on Apple Plus. I don't know if you saw that or Apple
No,
TV
I don't have Apple Plus, so.
Yeah, no one does, but it's actually pretty cheap. I think it's only like $5 a month or something like that, or $7 or whatever. There's not a lot
take
on
away
there.
like $5 from one of my YouTubers.
Yeah, exactly. Get a super chat. But actually, the Severance was a really good show too. That was very compelling. Yeah,
I've heard good things about SEEC.
See, is that the one with where they're trapped in the town?
Yeah, but they're blind.
Oh, then I don't know. No, I don't know this one. Oh, that's on Apple Plus. No, I don't know that show.
Yeah, Salty Nerd's been reviewing it, but they it's called SEEC.
Oh, okay, with Jason Momoa with Aquaman.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, all right. Cool. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. Yeah, I have
the whole world's like, I think, blind.
That sounds kind of stupid. I don't know. Just like, all right.
That's on season 3, so.
Okay, well, people must like it. But I am so not like, I'm so out of like being involved in content for the sake of having the conversation. Like, right now, I'm genuinely just checking out things I want to watch, and that's it.
Me, I agree. I I have a group of fellows that they review Lord of the Rings and She-Hulk and all that stuff. They're on Friday nights as well, and they always invite me, and I'm like, "What are you guys talking about?" And they'll say those three things, and I'm just not interested. I'll come on for House of Dragons for like maybe 30 minutes, and I'll leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I just don't want to talk about something that's just drives me nuts. So
Yeah, and like, what are we gonna say about it? Guess what? It sucks. Okay.
yeah, there's nothing like you're not gonna have any good thing. If you're not gonna have any good thing to say about it, then why even talk about it at all?
Well, it's like it's not. I agreed with the conversation for a very long time. I thought it was a very necessary conversation, especially because like we didn't really have anyone else. We only had the Access Media, and then I don't know who else. Like who else was So you're living in a world where people are praising Rey Skywalker for being this great character. You're watching like franchise after franchise just get mauled and turned into toxic waste, and then you're being told on top of it it's great, and if you don't like it, there's something wrong with you. So it just becomes like this weird gaslighting on a grand scale. And so then all of a sudden I found all these people online who were being like, that's bullshit, this sucks, and here's why. And you're like, oh yes,
they're not getting paid by by a certain newspaper or studio.
It was giant. But now I'm just so burnt out with all of it, like the conversation, good, bad, otherwise I don't give a shit.
Yeah, you could kind of jump in and out. It's just like politics too, right? You want to you want to be in the know just enough so like you don't get taken off guard, but you don't want to get so heavy into it all the time, because if you make that your centerpiece of your life, you'll just be drained.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Although some people they've made very healthy careers out of it. Doesn't seem to get down.
Right. You like have the right mindset. It's like, okay, for an hour I'm going to do this, but everything else I'm not, not going to talk about it. So.
Yeah, I thought it was me, but then I guess just all the years of being burnt out on Hollywood and just kind of putting all that behind me, just like living in the world of content all the time is just kind of like I just felt like I was being insincere. I had to have hot takes about shit I didn't care about. I was like, I really don't care whether Thor: Love and Thunder is good or not. I don't care. I mean, if it's good, I'll watch it. If it's not, I
stopped caring after like, what is it, the Spider-Man No Way Home. So, because I wanted to finish the Spider-Man series of the after Endgame, and so okay, I'm invested in that Spider-Man. I'll let that kind of finish off, and then after that, I'm like, I don't really care about anyone else, even Thor. I'm like, in my mind, his story ended at Endgame because he finally he supposedly found himself, right? Because he lost weight or he came back out of that
or whatever
slump, and he saved the world. And why is he trying to find himself again?
Well, that's been his arc in like 7 movies. He's
stop finding yourself.
Yeah, like, really, dude. You're like a girl in her 20s, man. Like, it's a drag. Like, stop bringing us into all your your drama.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a DJ this week. Oh, that's cool. Oh, now you're really focused on astrology. Fascinating. We got it, dude. We got it. You're exploring identity.
Yeah, he had some trouble stuff, right? His brother hated him, tried to kill him. His dad died. All this. His mother died. Lost his girlfriend a couple of times. It's just like, can you just have him be cool and not worry about finding himself? And it just wasn't that way.
Lame. It's just lame. Yeah. But I also just like, I would be lying if I said I cared. Like I care about the comic books and stuff like that in the context of like culture being infiltrated and turned into something that it isn't and it shouldn't be. And I do still genuinely care about that. But I'm not a vanguard for the Thor franchise. Like I've never read a Thor comic book in my life.
Yeah.
Am I going to come out like aggressively against what they've done to Thor? I feel like that's someone else's responsibility.
There's a lot of good people out there that can do that. So might as well let them do it. Yep. Just like Lord of the Rings and House of Dragons or Game of Thrones. There's people who invest their lives reading those books and things so that they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Let them do it. You can voice your opinion probably for 10 minutes saying, look, I really didn't like this episode as a fan, and I didn't really like what they did here. Didn't really entertain me. But from going beyond that, you probably can't do much. so.
Yeah, and it's just not all that compelling to me. It's not even compelling to do it. Like, I just kind of like, I'm just a guy with an opinion, like a guy like Mahler or Critical Drinker, like, Drinker is a professional storyteller. Like, that's what he
Mm-hmm.
does. You know what I mean? He's an author. Like, I've dabbled in it. I've written screenplays. I wrote a television pilot. Like, I've done it, but it's not my waking hours are spent
Yeah.
doing it. I'm no expert. And Mahler, I don't know what his creative writing background is, but he clearly understands story. But he's
Yeah,
so
and
meticulous with his
yeah.
videos that his contributions are so rich. Like, what am I going to offer next to them? Like, my take, my insight, just watch their videos.
Yeah, same with Kadish over at Salty Nerd. Like he writes his own books. He's been in the Hollywood net. He's been in Hollywood, like writing scripts for people, movies and things. So if he knows what he's talking about, right? So with their show, you get a mix. So you get him that like he's like the true expert. Then you get like the fan that's like, I don't like this because it didn't entertain me, or I liked it because it did entertain me. And then you have the other two that bring some kind of comedy to it. So if you have that core group of people, then you could make a good show. It's just
Oh, yeah.
you always have to have that. I prefer the expert talk more about it than me. So
And it's not to say that I don't talk about it. Like, I do. And if I were invited onto,
Yeah.
a show where they want to talk about
You
it, I would
would.
totally talk about it. On the Cocktail Lounge, on the Cocktail Lounge recently, that's all we've been talking about is things that we like.
Which I'm
You
going
know.
to try to make one of these Fridays.
That'd be
Just
great,
Fridays
man.
and stuff.
Love to have you. It's fun. I think this week we're gonna do one of the lists. We've been doing a lot of lists recently, and the chat groans, but they stick around, so they must not hate it that much. But we've been doing, like, we started off with the best science fiction movies of all time. The only reason I did that was because I just wanted to have something to talk about that wasn't like pop culture or news or something. And Red Shirt and Rock Fan are both big sci-fi fans, so I was like, let's just, we can sink our teeth into this. And then it became so contentious because the list was so wild, like, and the things that weren't on there were like genuinely offensive. We're like, how is that not a part of your list? And that was like a running theme with all these lists we did. So we did fantasy movies, they did action movies when I wasn't there. We did the top video games, and
Where
Half-Life
do you
wasn't.
pull your lists from?
I don't know, the internet.
Okay,
You
because
know.
I know IMDb has like people who make lists.
They do have that too, but I kind of prefer when it's like an editorialization, like it's a magazine or a website, because they'll always have like a blurb under it or something like that, and like they've clearly spent time ranking it. Like, a lot of times they're very artsy. Like, for instance, like the video game list that we did 2 weeks ago. On a list of the top 100 games of all time, Half-Life 1 is not on it. It's not even like it was ranked too high. It's not on the list. How can you have a conversation about the best video games of all time without talking about one of the most influential first-person shooters in history? It's just like,
Yeah.
you pretentious dickbag. Then there was like 9 Mario, like, what's it called? 9 Mario games on there. I'm like, really? Come on.
You should just make Mario one game.
I swear to God, just pick the best one and move on. Like, I know it's a
Yeah.
big deal,
Its
but
first
golly.
one, yeah, you could put that one on there. It was kind of different.
Mario Party if you have to. I don't know, but
Yeah,
so
Mario
it's-
Kart changed the way people played racing games.
Yeah,
You've
yeah,
got-
Mario
you've
Kart.
got,
Yeah.
Mario's N64 was like, whoa, it's finally in 3D.
Mhm.
That was kind of cool.
It was
the rest
cool.
of them,
Look,
they're all the same.
yeah, it was just the things that were like lacking and the things that weren't on there and things. It was just like, all right. So
Was Mass Effect on there? That's my favorite.
I think Mass Effect 2 was on there.
That's a good.
I love
The whole
Mass Effect.
series is good, but yeah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Mass Effect, but it became this kind of thing. So it was really fun to talk about things we liked, and then it was very stimulating conversation. And we weren't just bitching about the new whatever movie or the new series. Like, we don't even talk about the new stuff on the show really. Like, I always put it like in the title or in the show rundown. But we never even get to it because it's just like, whatever, man. Who cares? Like, Lord of the Rings sucks. Oh, is that the Wii one?
Yeah,
Your offspring?
it's okay. It makes me feel a little real. So
Yeah. No, that is real. How long you been married for?
13 years.
13 years. Holy Christ. How old are you?
Just turned 40.
Just turned 40.
Yeah.
What are you indicating to? What are you pointing at?
Oh, you can't really see it, but there's like a balloon of 40 left over.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
My wife decorated my office for that, so.
That was nice of her. Wow, 40. All right.
Mhm.
Got married at 27. How'd you meet your wife?
We went to the same high school, but we didn't really talk, and then we met each other again in college. So
Oh, pretty standard.
Yeah,
Meet in
we came
college?
from a
Yeah.
small town, so it was like her friend was dating one of my friends, and then we were like, oh, I think I remember you, you know. So
Yeah, weren't you that weird guy who was always staring at me? Nah, that was some other dork. Certainly
yeah, I was
wasn't
a grade above her, so
me.
she didn't really
Unless you you had
commute with me.
status. Yeah. Yeah, the older guy, always attractive. That's interesting. That's good. That seems like a healthy
Yeah,
relationship.
I was also part of the crowd that she didn't like, so it was kind of like,
Ah, you're a bad boy.
mm,
Lots of appeal. Yeah.
so
13
different
years.
time, early 2000 or yeah, early 2000s, bleached hair and a
Yeah,
lot
some
of
frosted
baggy-
tips, did you?
Yeah.
Nice. A little Sublime on the old
Oh yeah.
this man.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you where are you from? What part of the
Arizona.
world? Arizona. Oh, okay, cool. Right
Yeah.
on. Yeah, you're still there, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
One of
right
the
on.
few natives. Yep.
Sure. I drove through Arizona last year, or no, God, time flies, man. This was like 2020 actually, but it
Okay.
was during the pandemic. I just had to get out, so I went to the Grand Canyon. But first, I went to Phoenix. I did like a little cross thing from LA to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Wasn't do you live in Phoenix, by the way? I don't want to.
I live on the outer rim. So
Okay, I
I'm
was
not in-
unimpressed, by the way. I don't want to. Nothing about your. I was just kind of like.
There's
There's a lot-
pockets. There's pockets of nice places, and there's pockets that are like,
Yeah.
what is this? So,
Yeah, where I stayed, there was like homeless people everywhere. I was like, well, I'm certainly not going to move here. Like, like I'm leaving
Yeah,
LA because of all the
that-
homeless people. I'm not going to move to
the
another
homeless
city.
problem has become a new thing.
Oh, okay.
We really used to have that problem, especially in the urban area of Phoenix.
Okay. So, yeah, it's spreading like that.
I don't know how political you want me to get, but certain people came into our city and took over, and now you see problems from other areas.
Dude, I've lived in New York, LA, and Austin. Say no more. I get it. But so my plan was to go to the Grand Canyon, and I didn't quite map it well. And I was like, oh shit, Grand Canyon's a lot further here than I thought it was.
It is.
So
I
had to-
say you gotta go another 6 hours or something.
Something like that. It was like 4 or 5. It was a journey. It was definitely a journey. But damn it, dude, Arizona is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially when you drive north to or south to north like that, and you see like the gradients, like as like the temperature changes. It's wow.
Yeah. We recently did a little staycation in the Mongolian Rim area, and that's northeast or eastern Arizona, central Arizona.
Yeah.
I have some video shorts on my channel you can see, but it's
cool.
it's just all pine trees. And where I shot one of the videos, we were at like 7,000 feet. So
Wow.
it's a state with a lot of peaks and valleys. So I don't know if you ever been to Tucson, Arizona.
No, because
Arizona.
that's further
South.
east of.
It's east south, south.
Yeah, southeast of Phoenix. So no, I didn't. I stopped
So
at Phoenix.
that's a valley. It starts at I would say about 3,000 maybe, and there's a mountain there called Mount Lemon, and that goes all the way. If you drive that up, it's only like an hour up, and you'll hit like 8,000 feet, and it's
Wow.
trees and snow, and so like people who live in Tucson, you can go hang out in the desert, swim, and go up this mountain and possibly hang out and camp, and some days it does snow. So
That's dope.
Arizona is peaks and valleys. So
I didn't. I'm just stupid, and I just didn't think it through at all. Like I was living in LA, and I think it was October, and October in LA, it's like summer, like it's still hot. And so when I was driving out to Phoenix, so it's all normal. Then I going north, and I stopped in a town. I want to say Scottsdale, but Scottsdale's is in Phoenix,
north
right?
of Phoenix. Yeah.
So yeah, is it north of Phoenix or is it like one part of Phoenix?
There's the Phoenix big metropolitan area. So for example, so you have LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Anaheim. So it's kind of like that.
Okay, yeah. So it's nearby. I'm trying to think of the city that I stopped in, but it was like halfway between there and the Grand Canyon. But there was
there's a couple. There's Prescott, Arizona. There's
Flagstaff. That was it.
Too. Yeah.
And dude, there was snow on the ground And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even bring a sweatshirt, man.
Yeah, there's a good ski place up there. Not the greatest ever, but it's good enough for us Venetians that want to drive up there and do it. So.
Dude, I was just like, oh man, I did not plan this well. Like I was like, oh shit. I had to dude, literally in the gift shop at the Grand Canyon, I had to buy like a beanie just so that I wouldn't be freezing. I didn't think about it. I was like, oh yeah, the whole country's not LA, idiot. It's October. There's seasons.
Californian.
That's so stupid.
Have you played Red Dead, right?
Oh, I love Red Dead 2.
Or Red Dead 2, that map in that game is kind of like Arizona. You're like, you're in the desert and then you drive 30 minutes or an hour and you're in the wilderness. Yeah.
Well, isn't there that part that you get access to? I guess is where Red Dead 1 takes place, but it's all it's Mexico. All the Grand Canyon and shit in Mexico. Yeah. That was after I finished the game, I really wasn't complacent. I wasn't ready to give it all up, so I just rode through that whole area. I was just shooting the Mexican gangs. Oh my god, that's one of the best games I've ever played. The narrative in that, I don't think I've seen it as compelling maybe ever. It was so good.
Yeah, and the way they connected both games was cool.
It's just cool because I've never played the first one. It makes me want to go play the first one.
Yeah, if you play the first one, you'll walk and you play the second one, you'll walk through a town and you're like, oh, I remember this from the first one. You're like, you get all nostalgia. It's kind of funny.
Does the first one end with them kicking their way, just jetting out of town in that area that you can't go to?
No, it ends where he so the main character of the second one where he gets that farm.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want to ruin it, but yeah.
No, I appreciate that. No, because it's that's how you go to that one area where it's completely shut off. You cannot go down there. And if you try to, you just immediately, 8 men on horseback, just gun you down. I was like, when am I going to get this? And I didn't realize it was a whole nod to the first game. I was like, oh, that is cool.
Yeah, because Marston from the first game, he gets a farm with his family and stuff. And then in the second game, you're a different dude, part of that. Was part of that gang. So
Arthur Morgan.
Yeah, Arthur.
Right. Yeah. The voice acting in those Rockstar games is second to none.
Yeah. I'm a little ashamed that they're changing their ways, but
shock.
What happens when you hire you try to change your corporate atmosphere and it infects your product. So,
and it's happening all over. I almost feel like the only thing that can be kind of edgy or entertaining or genuine is stuff that just isn't made by a big corporation.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right on that. So there's people out there making their own games. They don't have the budget, but
that's the tough part about it, because the big budget movies, big budget video games, it's so hard to get that money and source that to create something that competes on that level or has that level of production value. That's the real rub. But I don't know, I'm finding so much more interesting stuff. I'm such a big comedy fan, stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And the stand-up comedy world right now
is done it?
On fire. I have done it a few times, yeah. It was brutal. It was horrible. I'm gonna go back. But it's very hard. Oh yeah, but it's so difficult, dude. You just stand up there, say something you think is funny to fucking silence.
Yeah, that would be kind of rough.
It sucks. It's not even they're not even mad at you. They're just whatever. You're just well. Yeah, exactly. But it's even worse because there's no emotion behind it. It's just oof. And you're just oh.
I paid $20 for this.
Well, they were just open mics. No one pays for that usually, but it was just that muted silence. It was deflating. I got off stage and I was.
You didn't say I got a real funny one for you, folks.
Get this, folks. You won't believe it. Just come huddle in. Yeah. No, get ready to laugh. No, nothing like that. I just said I don't even remember what my jokes were.
Maybe that's what you should do. You say, "Oh, I got a belly burster for you."
Hope you got some water. Your abs are gonna hurt. No, I think I said something about how I was disappointed that Texas wasn't the mythology that I'd heard about it. I was expecting there to be roving gangs of Trump supporters with MAGA forehead tattoos and shit.
Austin.
I know, but even El Paso, everyone was wearing a mask. I was like,
You gotta go.
I just,
Hilarious.
yeah. Well, that was still like 2020, early 2021 when we were still believing any of this horse shit.
It took me 2 weeks to not believe it.
2 weeks. When did the California there were like the Orange County protests? Like whenever that started, that's when I was like, huh, maybe there's something to this.
2 weeks.
Was it all the way summer?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And I work in an industry that was very impacted by the whole shutdown of the country, where we scrambled to help our customers. And there were people I knew that I worked with that lost their jobs because my company could not afford to keep them on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was a day where my boss told me, he's like, look, they're going to chop some people out of here. I don't know who's safe and who's not. And then 24 hours later, we knew who it was. So I had a good scare there for a while. So.
Dude, I mean, I was talking with Chrissy Mayer about it, and it was wild. Like I was working at a restaurant, and it was like we did 2 full weeks of training, like extensive training, like 8 hours a day, you know what I mean, 5 days a week. We were trying all these things. We were learning like the cocktails. We had like extensive food training. They put all this food out there. And like in the meantime, like all this COVID talk was happening. And like literally the day we were supposed to open, our first day, our soft opening, we get to work and they're like, we're not doing it. We're shutting down for COVID. And I was just like,
well, that happened to a lot of people. You know, they like gyms, the government would say, okay, if you do these things, you can open, right? Mm-hmm. And then they would open. And then the government would shut them down a week later, and the gyms are like, bro, what's going on here? Yeah. We paid millions of dollars to do this. And in the industry that I'm in, we did the same thing. We had our customers purchase all this stuff, and they're like, okay, you can start opening now, and according to your government. And there were some that couldn't. They were like, I'm not going to buy all this because I'm not going to do this training when I can't even open.
And like this business sunk like millions of dollars, like not even just into the training, but into the whole space, like the rent on that space, renovating it, turning it into like this, what was going to be a
even restaurants, yeah.
Oh my God.
Outside so dining, yeah.
Yeah. And they just straight up were like, no, we're just going to sit on
and
this.
And there were some restaurants that just said, I can't do this. And they're gone.
I saw an estimate that they, at the height of it, where it was something like California lost like something like between like 40 and 60% of their small businesses.
Yeah. It depended on if you were having a Hollywood party or not. If you were able to.
Yeah. But dude, it was nuts. And then it was like I was talking about this on the Cocktail Lounge. I was listening to Dr. Drew on Jim and Sam, and Dr. Drew was saying things like the 6 foot thing was completely arbitrary.
Yeah, they didn't really know.
They just made it up. It wasn't even backed by their science. They just said, we're just going to pick a number and throw it out there.
And they said if they were going to go with a longer, shorter one, but everyone freaked like, no, that we can't do that. So.
Yeah. So this bullshit sounds better than that bullshit. What are we doing? And the masks don't do anything. They literally don't protect a single. They always say do it for other people. It's like, well, it doesn't protect you. So what do you get? Like me wearing a mask only protects me. Yeah. It's up to me.
Of people got a little. I'm going to say brainwashed on a lot of stuff. So
I still see masks.
Still are. Oh yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Well, there's a thing now too that people. There's people that don't want to be friendly to people, right? They don't like to smile. They don't like to do those kind of things. So they said the mask now is more of a barrier for you not being social.
Interesting. I never even thought of that angle. I always just look at it as like a virtue signal thing. Because listen to this clip.
There's some people like that too. There are the virtual signal people, but there's also these group of people that they just don't want to be social, so they'll just put it on not to do it. And then there's other people that are still generally afraid of this, even today.
Why? Why?
Because they got told to be. Yep.
Yeah, I think they like it though.
I
think they like it. Yeah, I think that they think they're doing something by being afraid or anxious. Like I think they feel like they're part of the solution. Like I swear to God, like when I was Dude, when I was in LA, there was an acting coach. I've told this story before, but it's still so wild. But I had an acting coach, good guy, really woke, but good guy. And he, after Trump got elected, like they all lost their minds. Like they just collectively were just miserable and throwing a fit for months, which was really funny at first, and then really a drag after a while. But it's still funny to watch them get all like twisted.
The one or two comments, haha, no one 100% likes presidents, right? But then it just got so weird.
It just got out of hand. I mean, there was one guy who was like, "I'm from Germany, and this is how how Hitler came to power, and blah blah, fucking blah." But anyway, so I see my acting coach, and he had quit cigarettes for like a long time, and I see him outside, like smoking a cigarette, and I was like, "Dude, what's going on? You started smoking again?" And he goes, "Well, it's all the stress from Trump or whatever." I was like, "Yeah, dude, but I mean,
one
like,
person do that to you."
But even that, okay, fine, be upset. But it's like, but you're kind of like letting him win, right? If you're taking an L, like if you're doing something bad for yourself because he's in power, like you're giving him more power, you're making yourself miserable. And he goes, "Well, I don't know, I donated like $25,000 to Planned Parenthood," and I was like, "No, I'm just talking about your health. What are you talking about, dude?" But it's like, it's really wild. It was like so insane. But it was like, I think that they feel like if they're upset and they're concerned about it, somehow they're contributing to the solution.
Yeah.
And it's like this weird.
I lost friends, good friends that I've known my whole entire life.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that go down?
Well, I used to be on Facebook, and that was where I was very social with all my old friends, and I would make a comment here and there about certain things, and I would get told like, "I can't, XYZ, why do you like this person? You're a ist.
You're this,
you're
like,
hey,
that.
Man, you could just not talk to me." And sure enough, like, wow, you don't cherish my friendship at all. You're not really my friend, I guess.
I lost a friend like that.
Yeah, I lost a lot of like that. Like, I had old friends like literally like report me on Facebook I'm like, I have like 20 followers at that time. I was like, why do you care what I say? So it was...
I mean, I had a buddy in LA. It was a good friend for years, and like best friends. We wrote a television pilot together, and just during the pandemic, not even the Trump thing. It was more the pandemic stuff. But like, he just changed. Probably pre-pandemic too. He started dating like this woke girl. What's that?
He broke a lot of people.
Broke a lot of people, and it was like every single time I'm hanging out with him because he's a black dude, I'm just getting some kind of lecture about my privilege. I'm like, buddy, like. We don't share the same opinions, man, but like how many years do you have to know me before I've got enough bona fides to like you can tell I'm a good guy? Like how long do I have to prove it? It's like just because I don't think the same way you do, that makes me a bad person. Like what kind of a friend are you, man? Like it really sucked.
True friendship is everyone accepting that someone could have a different idea. Now you can agree to disagree and then maybe not mention it again. And just know that, but it goes both ways though. There's people on the right side that are like, they have lost. I'm not gonna talk to this person anymore because of who they support. So it's not just
that's crazy. That's insane to me. I just
and I work in the corporate world, so you're encouraged not to share certain things. So you do have to be a little careful, especially when you're in the work environment. Now, if you were outside of work, hopefully, we could be okay. But
that's where it gets really dangerous, dude. That's when people start letting their guard down and they realize you think something and they want to like use you as some sort of lightning rod to get moral points or, look good in comparison. I've had a lot of problems with people like at work in Austin here. So it's something I'm like, I don't assert opinions at all politically.
Unless you're really comfortable with that person. And for a fact that that person won't say something, then
and I'd have to. I even then I still would be hesitant just because it's like as long as I have this job, like I don't want to do anything to compromise it. Like I don't want you to make some joke about like, oh hey, Matt voted for Trump or something like that, and the wrong person overhears it, and then it becomes a problem because it's been a problem and it sucks. I don't like that I have to live my life like that, but it's more important to me to keep the job than it is to stand on my principles, which sucks because it's like I'm not really that guy, but I'm faced with very few opportunities. Yeah, it really does. Suck, but
and like I said, if you work for a company that yeah, you can probably have your own opinions outside of work. But if you come into and you start shouting off the rooftop all kinds of stuff, they'll say something. But I mean, because they do it for both sides. They're like, hey, look, we get it, but
That's
don't.
cool. But still, yeah. I mean, you shouldn't really be bringing it up at work, but I don't, but I find myself often am confronted with other people's opinions. Like,
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah.
trying to convince me the other day that Elon Musk is a bad guy because he's a Trump supporter. And I was just like, well, I guess maybe you think I'm a bad guy too because I
Well, he
voted
voted
for
for
the motherfucker.
Biden, so technically he's
I
not.
mean, I don't, it's just like what, he's a hardcore Trump guy. It's like,
No,
what does that mean? That 40 million, however many millions of people voted for him are also all bad people? Is that really what you believe,
I
dude?
mean, I
And
voted
you
for him.
think they're the Nazis? You think they're the Nazis? Okay, pal. Jesus.
So just chill out. I just want to live my life the way I see fit and protect my family how I can. And if you don't like that, then you don't have to be around me. So
Yeah, that's the truth, man. That's the facts. So we've hit an hour here, JT. I want to thank you very much for
that was quick.
doing this show with me. It was very quick, flew right by. It was a
I
real,
appreciate
real
it, man.
easy
Thanks
hour.
for bringing me on. This is awesome. It was great to see you in person. You're a fun dude.
Oh
It
yeah,
was,
thanks, man.
we should try to meet up again. I think that would be great. So
Fucking A. Yeah,
whenever-
Vegas was an absolute blast, dude. It's just
It was
pure
fun.
bliss, man. Yeah, it's just fun,
Yeah.
just good times, good vibes. Every time I go, I have so much fun.
Are you going to Orlando?
I'm not. No,
Yeah.
I've just first of all I spent way too much money in Vegas, and secondly, like I got to go home for Christmas too, and so that's going to be travel expenditures, and that's I just can't
Yeah,
afford it.
I'm
this
not going
time.
either. But if anyone out there in the world who's watching this and you get to go, make sure you make a good opportunity and meet as many people as you can, and talk to
Hell
whoever you want.
yes. Do
They're
not
not
be a
they're not gonna
wallflower.
push you away. They'll talk to you. So
No, everybody's so warm and they embrace people so much. Yeah, don't be a wallflower in those environments because you'll regret it.
Mhm.
It's like that. Everybody's kind of already on the same page. You already have so much in common with these people. It's
I recommend
easy to talk to
putting
them.
a name tag on you, on who you are and what your
Bingo.
tag is, because most people don't know your face, right? So they'll be like,
Yeah,
"Who are you?" So wear something that shows your Twitter tag or your YouTube name or channel
totally.
shirt.
No, it's smart.
Because there were people I didn't get to meet because I didn't know what they looked like, and I was very upset. So
Well, when I got to the Millennium Fandom bar, there was this dude, and he was buying everybody their first round. It's like, this is John or Jim or whatever the hell his name was. And I was just like, oh, thanks, man. He's like, oh, yeah, hey, I'm not another dime from the chat. I'm like, oh, dude, of course, not another dime. I know you. He's like, you should tell them that's who's buying the drinks. And he's like, okay. And he just changed the tab to not another dime. And everyone's like,
yeah,
oh, like it changes the vibe. It's like most people aren't on camera. And even myself was on camera. It's like, not that many people know what I look like. So it's like,
no,
you
yeah,
gotta put it out there.
yeah. So
Yeah. So
one
JT, where can people find you, man?
So you can find me on Twitter. That's one of my main accounts at JTGun09. Oh, Captain, my Captain. And then you can find me at After the Weekend Mondays. We live. We review movies, like I said earlier. And then you can also find me at Late Night with Cap. That's my own channel, my own stream. Matt's gonna be there this Wednesday, so we should have a
yeah.
good time.
Right on, brother.
So yeah, you can find me there.
Cool. Yeah, check him out. Check out JT's stuff, and hopefully you'll get to see more trashing of the design content. I love that. That is so funny.
It's a fan favorite. Literally, people come just for that.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, that could be its own account, dude. Like, do you do that on TikTok?
No.
That-
I'm not really a fan of TikTok.
I mean, whatever. It's all, dude. Fan. We're all whores. We're just trying to get the stuff out there. Those types of clips, I think, could go viral there. But it's a really easy
Okay.
platform to go viral on. So.
I'll try.
Till
Maybe
you
I'll
say
look
the
into
wrong
it.
thing, but yeah. I mean, you put the shorts on Instagram, might as well just put them on TikTok too.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds
just a
good.
thought.
Thanks for the
Anyway,
advice.
You got it. And everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate that you're doing well. Oh fuck, I forgot to mention it. That started off the whole thing with the bad news.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So the bad news is the thing that sucks is Luke the other night got out and he's been missing for several days, and it really, really sucks. I missed the little fluff ball. And I hope that he comes back. Apparently, it's not uncommon for cats to leave for several weeks at a time, months at a time. I hope it's not that long. I hope he walks in the door at any minute. But right now, Luke is missing. I think he's in the neighborhood. I hope he's in the neighborhood.
Hopefully he
But
comes back.
Yes. So I just want to let everyone know. So say a little prayer for Luke, and hope that he comes back. And so I will be updating you on that the second I get an update.
Yeah, keep sending updates on that. I feel a little bad.
That sucks. It definitely sucks. But once again, JT, thank you so much for joining.
Yeah.
And you guys can always catch me on Friday nights, the MFer Cocktail Lounge, of course, 8 o'clock. This week, we're probably going to be consolidating our own list. It's either going to be the video games or the fantasy films. So we're going to be doing one of them, which is going to be super, super dope. So be there for that.
Sounds fun.
And fucking A. And hopefully JT will be on sometime.
I'll try.
Yeah, hopefully, man. So, all right, everyone, have a great day. See you later.